Incredible great news to start your afternoons that FPEUC, FPEUC, PUA, and EIQRL, anything else that we can include, are all being extended. Unemployment benefits are being extended. They're supposed to expire in late December, but the Biden team now says that he wants them extended. Mitch wants them extended. No one wants them to lapse. This is incredible great news as Wall Street says, hey, you can't have unemployment benefits lapse in the middle of a December winter, a pandemic. It's incredible great news. And for the first time in several months on this channel, I'm going to do something you loved before. I'm going to be going over how to apply for the benefits, get them retroactively, especially if you've newly contracted COVID, how you get those qualifications to trigger. It's incredible great news. It's a great afternoon. And this is Being a Mitch. Hey, good afternoon, everybody. This is Lalate, and boy, it's a great day because finally everyone has your wishes in hand. This is a day in which you want to subscribe because I'm going live and taped and live. And I might even be going live right after this. I'll decide in a second. So make sure you subscribe. We had about 1,000 subscribers yesterday. We're really booming. The last 24 hours was our most watched day on this channel since, I think, October. So please subscribe. 310, 313,000, 314,000, I can't keep track of it, are the incredible family of this channel, everyone helping one another. Also, like this video. It really helps the video appear higher in the rankings. In tonight's video, or the afternoon's video, I will be going over the unemployment details, how to apply, what are the qualifications, and what you need to know going forward. I haven't done this video in a long time, and it really helps a lot of people. So let's get to the breaking news. The breaking news is that Mitch McConnell and Joe Biden both want to extend your unemployment benefits. And this is categorically incredible great news. So everyone's on point to extend it. What's being extended and how is it being extended? First item. UI. Let me go over weeks of UI. You normally have your UI weeks, but under CARES Act 1, they created something called FPEUC, which gave you additional weeks of unemployment assistance benefits. Then your state also had extended benefits, but those are all expiring in late December. FPEUC, created by CARES Act 1, expiring in late December. Both sides want extended. Incredible great news. Then on my PUA side, for my independent contractors, your PUA is expiring in late December. It's gone because CARES Act 1 said, you know what, it's going to expire in December. They want to extend that as well. Also incredible great news. Then that thing that we talk about so much, FPEUC, which goes on top of UI and PUA, going to get extended. Both sides want to extend it. That's what's also called enhanced unemployment benefits. Who and where and wow. Just yes. Calcino. What did you say? I don't know what he just said. FPEUC is getting extended. So this is incredible great news because it expired in late July and you haven't gotten it since if you did not get LWA. The amount of per week, that's the battleground. Mitch has done 300s. Problem solvers done. Republicans have done 400. Problem solvers did 450 for 8 weeks, and then 6 weeks at 600. And Joe wants it at 600. I think it's going to land at $400 to $500. But what I want to do in this video is I want to go over how to get these benefits. The first thing I want you to understand is that if you've contracted COVID-19, that's often a qualification for getting benefits. PUA, Pandemic Unemployment Assistance, has 10 qualifying reasons to get PUA. PUA is generally presumed for independent contractors or sole practitioners. These are my Uber and Lyft drivers, although some states want to put you under UI. That's a whole other video, and you've seen that on this channel as well. My independent contractors, my sole proprietors, you normally would not get unemployment assistance because you aren't a W-2. You're a 1099 or you work by yourself. You don't have an employer. Well, how do you get PUA. I feel like I'm going back to April 25th on this channel. This is the very first video of this channel. It's important to understand that PUA has 10 qualifications and they include your family member getting COVID-19. This video is very important as 125,000 new COVID-19 cases are announced per day. And viewers of this channel are saying, hey, family members are getting COVID. What do I get? So let me go over it right now. First, the individual, these are 10 qualifications for PUA as follows. The individual, meaning the person applying for the benefits, has been diagnosed with COVID-19 or is experiencing symptoms of COVID-19 and is seeking a medical diagnosis. So that basically means if you have a positive test for COVID-19, you qualify, or if you've tested for it and you're waiting for the results, which was no longer a difference, no longer an issue now because people get results very quickly, then you also qualify for it. Second, a member of the individual's household has been diagnosed with COVID-19, your household. So if your daughter, your son that lives with you gets COVID-19, absolutely, you can get PUA. Third, the individual is providing care for a family member or a member of an individual's household who has been diagnosed with COVID-19. So this is a little bit different. This is if you are providing for a member of your household who has COVID-19. An example of this is you have an exchange student who lives with you. It's no relation to you, but they live in the household, and you caring for that person who has COVID-19. Fourth, a child or other person in the household for which the individual has primary caregiving responsibility is unable to attend school or another facility that is closed as a direct result of COVID-19 emergency, and such a school or facility is required for the individual to work. So this is very important. So this is for a child or a person in the household um, uh, is unable to attend school, and such a school is required for the individual to work. So this is generally, a teacher-student lockdown situation. Fifth, the individual is unable to reach the place of employment because of quarantine imposed as a direct result of the COVID-19 emergency. So this was one of the initial qualifications I detail on this channel. It's this one and what's coming up later in this qualifications. I think it's number 10, which is if you can't reach the place of work because it's shut down. I mean, it's sort of obvious. But no, if you can't reach that place of work because it's shut down, you qualify for PUA. 6, the individual is unable to reach the place of unemployment because the individual has been advised by a healthcare provider to self-quarantine. So you may not have COVID-19, but you've been told to self-quarantine because of concerns maybe you do have COVID-19. That's quite interesting. It wouldn't keep you on unemployment benefits for 6 months, but it would keep you for unemployment for some time. Next, the individual is scheduled to commence employment and now does not have a job as a result of COVID-19. So this is very important. This is for a person who had got a job offered and just as about to start the job offer, darn, you get COVID. I mean, this happens to a lot of people, and so this is a great qualification. 8, the individual has become the breadwinner and major support of the household because the head of household has died as a result of COVID-19. This actually happens quite often. 9, the individual has had to quit his job as a result of COVID-19. Now, one of the qualifications for this one is not fear of COVID-19. States have actually said very clear since April 25th, fear of COVID-19 is not a qualification, that you've quit your job as a result of COVID-19. And finally, the individual's place of employment is closed as a direct result because of public emergency. Now, what's also important is this qualification. This is the single most important one, which I tell people to look at first, because it triggers most people's qualification. It is the partially employed classification. Let me explain to you what it is before I read it. It's basically you are working, as 40 hours a week as with your self-employed or independent contractor job before the pandemic, and now because of the pandemic, you're only getting 20 hours a week of work. You qualify. You qualify for PUA. Now, you have to disclose how much money you're making those 20 hours a week, but you still qualify for PUA. An individual who works as an independent contractor with reportable income may also qualify for PUA benefits if he or she is unemployed. That means you're completely unemployed. partially employed, which I just said, partially employed, or unable or unavailable to work because of COVID-19 public health emergency, has severely limited his ability to continue working his customary work activities and has caused the individual to suspend these activities. So there you go. When does PUA expire? December 31st, 2020. So this is what's incredibly important to understand as we deal with these classifications. Now, what's important to understand is that there's retroactive benefits, current benefits, and future benefits. And what you have to understand is certifying for benefits. You know, when I first did this channel on April 25th, everyone's like, what does certify for benefits mean? Now, a lot of you have now known what it means, but a lot of you are just newly going on unemployment benefits or PUA, and so you don't know it. I got to explain that. I also have to explain the periods of coverage in the old FPEUC. FPEUC 1.0, the original one, Creating CARES Act 1, goes from March to July. If your weeks of benefits are from March to July and you're applying in September, you still get March to July FPEUC of $600 a week. Yes. So if you never thought that you qualified for something until this day, and you go apply and your date of certification, your date of eligibility is in March, then you get coverage from March to July at $600 a week. And then after July, then you don't get the $600 a week. What's important to understand is your date of effectiveness. That was the number one thing that I said on this channel when I was starting to record on April 25th. Date of effectiveness. So you need to choose the earliest date. It's important to understand if you're very it's just slow getting to do this, and you were unemployed, then employed, then unemployed, then employed, then unemployed, and you're like, oh, maybe I should have done this. Okay, I'll go do it now in November. And you have been off and on and off and on all this time. And the first date was March. Well, you better list March. Don't list October, the last time you were unemployed. If your unemployment started in March because of COVID-19, make sure you list March. Why? Because you'll get the $600 a week for the weeks that you were unemployed. All right, next, when you're going through the application, the important thing to understand is answer the questions correctly. And I always get people to say, how do I answer these questions? These are the single most important items of advice that I've told viewers over time. First, there's going to be a question that asks about your mental state and a question that asks about your physical body. The mental state is a willingness to work, and the body question is ability to work, physical ability to work. The mental question sounds something like this. If you were offered a job to work, would you have been willing to work? Would you have been agreeable to work? Would you have been mentally on the mindset to work? That's basically what it's asking. Answer yes, absolutely has to be yes. If you say no, it's gonna deny the benefits that week. Next question. If you were offered a job to work, would you have been able, mobility, your body, to work? So you have to understand that's a physical question. They're asking, do you have your control? You have your entire body. Is your body fine? Would you have been able physically to work? Answer yes. If you say no, again, you're going to get denied. So what's important to understand is that FPEUC goes on top of UI, FPEUC goes on top of PUA, and you have to get those benefits in. Finally, what's important to understand is that when you're certifying for weekly benefits, you need to certify the weekly benefits despite what's going on with the federal government. So if you sitting here and say, well, FPEUC 2.0, the next FPEUC hasn't been approved yet, I don't feel like certifying for benefits in November, even though I'm unemployed. Hello. You have to certify for benefits. You have to certify every week, because when you certify for benefits, then when they come in and say, oh, you know what, we're doing it retroactively. Oh my God, I haven't been certified for benefits. That's why you don't do that. You have to ensure you certify for benefits every single week to make sure you get coverage when they announce the coverage. It's important to do that. Last, it's sort of obvious, but I have to state the obvious. If you don't certify for benefits and just don't take care of the situation, there will be a time in which you can no longer apply for it. So at some point, the time period to start applying for things is too late. Don't let that happen for you. It's relatively simple. It's relatively straightforward. And what's important to understand is that states and the federal government don't want you to be unemployed with no unemployment assistance. That doesn't work out good. Federal Reserve doesn't want that either. Everyone's working for you. Everyone's rooting for you. I'm rooting for you. And with that, please go to the Federal channel, subscribe. Subscribe because we're going to get through this together. Also, like this video. Coming up next is Street and Stimulus. As always, stay informed, stay smiling, and stay with LA for more.